Like, nope, got it.
Recording is on.
I think I was born in the wrong century that this is.
Welcome to HMFM, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome. The screen moves with you.
Where the screen moves with you.
Where the screen moves with you in a creepy way. Okay, Gypsy.
Okay. We've arrived.
Okay.
The time is 7:26. I was sort of thinking I would be here for an hour. Already it's been 30 minutes, though, so maybe I can go a little bit over.
Yeah, I also don't know if I have capacity for a 2-hour.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that was a typo also. I'm not sure.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. It was on the thing, so I was like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know if we can hang that long, but I know I can. I'm like, there's sunshine. I got to go.
Oh, yeah. High priority. That just became a high priority.
That made me think of this call for movement. I wonder if there's a way to like someone talk, someone move, someone note take, like have a rotating role structure as a way to get into our body and also just kind of like talk it out for a little bit.
Sure. I was going to say, Gypsy's already doing it for us by the moving, with the moving.
Yeah, and probably the note taking to some extent.
Right. Come on.
I can begin as a note taker. I greatly enjoy to scribe.
Okay. Yeah, because when you said going out into the sun, it also might be a moment like it's almost full moonish and I see her outside my window, so
nice.
It might be a moment for me to move underneath the full moon too. It's always that's a nice companion.
Mm.
You said
okay, cool.
Someone sound, someone scribe, someone move. Is that what you said?
Yeah. When I said sound, I guess I also mean like I have a lot of like responses and excitement to the call. I listen to it before joining. So like when I'm sounding, I'll probably be like opinionating, like sharing some ideas. But it could also be like sound too.
Okay.
Sound to each their own. So I don't have a preference if I sound or move. Lisa, how do you feel?
Either one. You should probably move under that moon while you have it.
You have the sun too. All right. Well, I'll trust the sun will stay for you, and I'll move first.
The sun is going to be around a little bit longer.
Okay.
Than that moon.
Let's see if. Oh, I mean, for sure you can see. Hang on.
Ooh! Wow!
Wow, that's
nice.
strong.
You know,
so clear. It's so clear.
I know.
Wow! Hello, Grandma.
Yes, Grandmama is here.
Is here. Of course. Right. People want to join. They have the Jitsi link.
Yeah, and I guess I'll just briefly preface this by saying I was reminded too of when you brought up, Lisa, our kind of like retreats before we met for the chocolate factory.
Yeah.
And I had kind of forgotten, and it was so wonderful, this sort of like consolidated time together.
Yeah.
And so for the folks listening to this hmfm23 transmission, talking, moving, writing was a big part of those retreats, and role rotationing.
Yep.
Rotating.
Okay. I'll make some sort of sound. I was looking for something. Some text. Maybe. Ooh. Apples come in many colors, varieties. They're ripe, sweet, sour, sweet apples, cooling, 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 cooling. Cooling, astringent, cooling, sweet earth and water, fire, earth, water, fire, air, space, air, earth, sweet, air, earth, water, air, space, space, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, stringent, heavy, heavy, light, 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 la, 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 light, la, 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 light, cold, cold, brr, cold, oh, cold, 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 hot, 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 woo, hot, woo, hot, boiling, 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 boiling. Scene.
Ding! Ding! The infamous 7-minute timer.
Did it go off?
I think it did.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah. Thanks for humoring.
Yeah. Thank you for humoring me.
Let the humoring continue.
Yeah, I mean, it just reminded me of like being in a rehearsal with this improv group that I've worked with for a long time, where we would just like come into the room and be like, do a quick check-in, like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, no, that was shitty, huh? No, that was cool. And then somebody would start moving and somebody would start saying things and reading things and
Nice.
responding. So that was nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I love the question of the last call Christy posed, which was, how comfortable are y'all with improvisation? I think it's a good question. Yeah.
Yep. Good question.
Yeah. Note taker, how are you doing?
I really didn't get much notes on the paper there. Digital paper. But yeah, I mean, when I heard that also, that question in the call, I really appreciated it next to what was the task that Jordy was proposing? Logging? No, not logging. What was the word? Milling.
Milling.
Milling a log. Logging a log. That, to me, like, that's closer to my current relationship with improvisation. Like turning the compost pile or baking some dough, which is currently in the fridge. Like, yeah, that's the first thing I think of, like living, the improvisation of living. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's the form and people do it and learn it. And totally forget.
Nice.
So it's cool to have that range maybe amongst us all.
Yeah. Yeah, and in terms of movement, like for the next however many minutes in the movement role, I'm also thinking too about like what's already moving in the home, you know? And what's moving off screen too. You don't have to be like a Leo rising like me who just wants to like on the screen. It could also be, off screen movements. That's what that made me think of.
Yeah.
All right, shall we change roles?
Sure.
Should I type this all into the chat and then we have it all in one space, actually, the notes?
Yeah.
Or is it really hard to save?
No, it's not hard to save. Oh, famous last words. Should be fine.
Yeah. I mean, literally, this is all that arrived.
Great. I'd love to take over the note-taking role.
We'll do a moving roll.
Move and roll.
Move and roll. One moment. I'm craving some movement, but I'm gonna do on off situation over here.
Perfect.
Okay, I guess that leaves me in the sounding, but I maybe will lend it more towards thinking out loud. Yeah, I think radio is having a comeback.
We'll never went anywhere.
Yeah, nobody really killed the radio star. It just had to update itself in many a form. Because I was listening to the recording of the last call while I was getting ready to leave for the day, and while I was walking to the bus, and while I was on the bus, and it felt like a podcast. And then, of course, I get that that's like also a current mode of sharing, hearing, listening, sharing. But I like the slow contemplative. I'm really into the long arc, like no end game, long arc of things, and reminding myself and moments I'm a part of that they are a part of a longer arc. And all that to say that I most likely am not going to be able to join you all in the eastern coast of Turtle Island. I highly doubt it, because even just coming for family is going to be really contained for practical and relational reasons, I think. But I feel just as joyful to weave with that in whatever form and look forward to something with more time to prepare, more time to gather resources also. Resources of various kinds. I know we are actually with so many resources in our bodies and in our knowledges, but yeah. I mean, impossible things are happening every day, as Whitney Houston said in The Role of Cinderella. Oh, no, sorry, the role of the fairy godmother, of course, in the movie Cinderella, to Brandy, who played Cinderella, which I highly encourage everybody to, everybody out there listening, to go and Google that next time you get a chance, because it's always a good reminder. So yeah, the long arc, that's what I'm thinking about. And I really love the suggestion of like what's needed in different moments, in different time, the different places that we are in relation to. And yeah, that also feels like the long arc around the year, the long arc around the map. So not to make it all like less tangible, I love that there's these anchors in time and place too, but yeah, that's maybe more personal, how I can configure in terms of what's scheming and brewing. Literally anything I say feels like a poem, like a slam poem.
Oh my God.
That's it. Wow, cool. Speaking of poem.
I'm going to read mine out loud as my sounding, and then I'll see how that recycling goes. So I'm set to sound.
Okay.
Okay, wait. I should make notes, right?
Please.
I'm just gonna move
Por
my
favor.
body surrounding me.
Lisa rolls her head, and Shelley begins to think out loud in silence. Radio is having a comeback. meet.jit.c/hmfm23. Persimmons rubbing, recalling something we discussed before I pressed record. Jordy doesn't take planes much except for grandparent visits. And I'll go to Arizona in 2 weeks for the funeral of my grandparents. Tohono O'odham and Apache lands. Long arc of things. A digital convening. Lisa in La Casa de los Gatos swinging her arms in that fabulous blue-white jean jumpsuit. Remember her arriving outside the chocolate factory in the dog days of summer heat, Remember eating popsicles, which I cannot spell. I can't find it for the life of me, when it was too hot to breathe. Impossible things are happening every day, as Whitney Houston said. Damn, this is a real radio transmission, y'all. Lisa takes the backspace as Shelley thinks of the long arc. What's needed in different moments in the different places we are in relation to. Do long arcs become spirals, circles, anchors, personal configurations? I'm feeling a resounding yes to having the gathering and the dates you already mentioned, and those who can come, come. Also having a resounding yes that those of us who pass through at different times could also leave something or pick something up, add to the resonance field somehow. Also wishing very much that I could be there, and wishing the dates could change to August, when I will be there, of course. Enjoying the idea of regional, perhaps more frequent, smaller gatherings. Thanks, everyone. I'm also adding this hot glue. That came up in the last call, and I was doing some searching, and it turns out I had already asked Tyler to help create one for us. So I had this just ready to go. So I took some notes in it before the call, and it's just a scrapbook. It's like an online scrapbook. Might be helpful to us.
Cool.
Yeah.
Why do you have to sign in?
Yeah. It's a whole thing, and I recommend strongly reading we could erase, when you click on it, we could erase the welcome to hot glue instructions, but I think we keep them because the instructions are actually necessary. It's not a very user-friendly site.
Yeah.
Yeah. But once you know your way around, you can put images, videos, change the colors, and it could be useful for us.
Cool.
I tried not to go too maximalist with what I put in there, but I, without trying too hard, found our the chats from our recent Zoom calls and just put things in.
Oh, nice.
And then I really, really loved, I missed last time, but I loved Christy's email, I'm trying to join but stuck in a waiting room. So I put that in here as well, just as a marker of space and time.
Stuck in a waiting room.
Yeah, just stuck in a waiting room together.
I need a bathroom break.
Bio break.
Banyo break.
Bio break.
I'll be back.
Ditto. Oops. Lisa, did I understand from the last call that Ivani can meet in those end of July dates, and this is why those dates were proposed?
No, I think it was also for Nicole.
For Nicole too.
Yeah, that we had discussed kind of like a June timeline, and it sounded like it didn't really work for her. I didn't get a chance to message her this week, so I can do that to confirm, to see whether or not we can get some earlier, if that's an option.
But is earlier better for others, or why? What's the motivation for earlier?
Yeah, I guess just trying to see what, if if it would work for others. So Shelley, tell me again, I know we've been tossing it around, but you will be in the States, but you'll be in there prior, right? Prior to those dates.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like my brother's wedding is the 24th, 25th of June.
Okay.
But and I thought that I could stay longer, but now there's another. Sorry, just have to be inclusive here.
Does it say? I can't even see. Oh yeah, I see the ears. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought that I had a bit more flexibility for staying a bit longer, and now there's other work stuff coming up, and I don't know. I just don't know that it's going to be possible.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want you to change it on my behalf,
right?
You know, or like for that. If that's the main motivation, yeah, which is crazy to come all the way there and almost and nearly.
Yeah, I know, so close. Yeah, I mean, maybe I can create. It's simple enough, right? A survey just to see what. I don't think we actually have in writing anyone's availability.
Not formally, no.
Right.
And there was that idea of a shared calendar that I think is also nice. I've done that for a rehearsal process before on an Excel where people just put different color, so we don't have to do some like intense Google Calendar. Well, Excel is intense in a different way.
Right.
But a form is actually a bit more poetic. It's nice. It's a nice idea, the form.
Form. Okay. Yeah.
It's a good one.
I can throw in some cheeky jokes too.
And I think in terms of like, it's hard also because there's so many factors. Like for me personally, I feel like if there was funding, I could make many more times work. And if there's not funding, I guess, like I briefly read Laura's email before hopping on, but I think similar vibe of like, I try to put experiences together when I go over there. And since I already have a residency in Maine in early September, end of August, it's like, wow, that'd be so cool to come at the end of August. Because then I could just arrive without feeling like I'm in a deficit because it's already something I'm mobilizing around.
Yep.
But if funding happened, like as we're talking like a year in advance or something like that for another gathering, I hate the way that that's how things work. But yeah, I could really just make it happen.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Where in Maine, Storm? We're in Maine, real quick.
Biddeford.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a residency called Subcircle. And I applied with Lons Reuter with our installation and interview project. And we're going to work with some folks there to create non-imaginary dances this time, but using the imaginary dance interview form. And I'll be there for 10 days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited. So yeah.
Okay.
Festival.
Yeah. I wonder if it helps to realistically kind of in a slow way to like pedal both of those things simultaneous, to like look towards a year from now or a year from the summer. I don't know. Probably summer's the easiest time. And just like sketch out possible resources and deadlines, and then those who can come together this summer, like beautiful, amazing. Right.
And then in terms of the those of us currently living in the European Union.
Yeah. Well, plus
What?
if Laura's in England, actually, she's
That's why I said that. I thought she was in Berlin. She's back in.
sometimes. No, now she's in the US.
Okay. Well, in any case, I don't know what to call it over here. But those of us who are like in this time zone.
Yeah.
Not time. Time is a little bit more of a governing construct than
Nation state.
the Eurozone. There's that mobility grant that's really going around right now. Do you know what I'm talking about? What is it, Culture Europe or something?
Yeah.
And you have to travel a certain amount of kilometers for your project in order to be able to apply. And you have to leave, I couldn't do it in France, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't really know what the stipulations are, but I hear you sort of just you can apply for anything because they're wanting to make it very accessible. Yeah. So I'm a little bit more inclined to, turn my energy towards that.
Mm-hmm.
The US, I looked into it a little bit. NCC Akron has a nice newsletter, and everything I looked at, you have to have a 501c3 in terms of funding. And so I just kind of stopped thinking about it from the US perspective. But here I could think of some grants.
Right. Yeah. Could you? Oh, no, I guess, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could, there could be a way to finance. I don't think it's just within Europe, the travel. I don't know. I have to read it more closely because there's always the possibility of wielding it to pay for my voyage, but actually the money can go elsewhere. Mm-hmm. A part of me is waiting. I'm technically illegal now, so I'm kind of waiting to get a visa again before I start messing with the finances here, but
right.
Yeah. But yeah, we could look into into that. And I mean, maybe it is more realistic to those of us on this side of the sea to try and coordinate together for this summer too, for a smaller get together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the weekend is an interesting weekend. I'm supposed to be in Denmark, but that also has no funding. And so I haven't said yes yet. I got accepted into an artist residency that has no funding, which is my plight. It's what do I do with this information? But so I could also turn that into part of our research somehow. Maybe.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll look into it.
Yeah, and if there is a gathering, perhaps there could be a moment or a portion that is virtual, and then we could join y'all from our wherever we be.
Yeah. That's nice.
And vice versa. If people are, if it is possible, or there's a contingency that can go to Vermont, to the Black Hole Hollow, then we can have a series too where we have online programming.
Yeah. Cool. And even also this kind of asynchronous love letters vibe of not wanting to take up too much the preciousness of being together and then being with the screen. I'm sure it just needs the right dose and stuff, but somehow to find ways to pass all kinds of things back and forth.
Yeah, and then I also just want to honor and uplift this cyclical return discussions have also towards Jordy's land endeavors. And I couldn't get there this summer. I feel like I want to tell Jordy this before non-Jordy this, but yeah, Jordy, if you're listening, my intent would be to come early 2024. So yeah, that's also something, is to how to like use this planning in advance to stoke relations we already have with one another and the places that hold each other. Like I'm thinking too of Shelley, the garden you co-steward in Berlin, just like, yeah, these places that already sustain us individually. It'd be amazing to encounter them together, you know.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is discussed also, and Tyler brought up the ice fishing of Christy, and yeah, like doing these activities together. That sounds very appealing to me, much more so than like making a dance performance for me.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a thing where there's in between a fuller gathering, there are these adventures and meetups, and then but there's maybe like, you know, the all together gathering is like, you know, kind of an anchor. It doesn't have to be the anchor, but
it would be so amazing though. Like my heart is breaking a little that it can't just immediately happen. Like it's really really a priority of mine. Like I really really want this to happen. So for me it is a personal anchor knowing that it will happen one day.
Good. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because when the five of us came together, it just sort of time stops. Like it just becomes sort of like, oh my God, like here we are. And it's really magical.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Amazing. Yeah, it's beautiful that there's such a tapestry and an abundance kind of potential lands too. And then, I totally, I trust in the long haul.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The long haul.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's great. That if you all are looking into stuff, we, you know, on that side of the globe, we can also the conversation that we did have with Nicole the last time, I don't know if we talked about this or if you already know, but we talked about getting folks on board from around the community to support with food donations or accommodation donations or travel, you know, just finding different ways of also and involving, like getting them involved in some way, some form, in a way of like saying thank you.
Nice.
There are those resources out there in that area. And I think something to this is new, but I feel like there's certainly a space. My partner Adam, he just purchased a home in Salem, New York, which is about is north, right? And so like that's also a space that could be a space for accommodations or a space for, you know, staging or however we really.
Salem, Massachusetts, or Salem, New York?
Salem, New York.
Okay.
Yeah. Tiny little bitty.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it's located. The way the home is situated is that you like are looking at Vermont. It's just like it's right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's probably like, well, from Black Hole Hollow, it's probably like 45 minutes.
Oh my God. That's
amazing.
7 seconds.
Yeah, that's why I bring it up. And it's through like this most gorgeous terrain. Like, like it's astounding.
Wow.
Yeah. So
amazing.
I'm slowly getting to know the area and seeing, you know, just also potential or ways to make that connection. Maybe there's a bridge between Nicole and that area. Or
Amazing.
Yeah. That's so nice. I love this.
Yeah, because as you both know, the United States, like when you like
Sorry, just however you're gonna finish it, I'm with you.
Yeah, totally. That, like tremendous. Yeah. Go for it.
So it just like, it feels like we have to be, we have like, at least like, this is how I grew up, of like, we're in a situation where nobody's going to look at us because we're in this state or whatever.
Mhm.
And all of it's going to go into these corners of the states. And so let's get creative. How else can we not take advantage, but like build relationships and like weave things in so that it's not just like, okay, well, shit, we need money. But people also need a place to sleep. They need they need food.
Yeah.
They need, and I don't know. I also just like to try and imagine, or like at least experiment with this, supporting individuals without the exchange of monetary funds, but that would feel like there's, we have to. I understand that. But at the same time, like, how can we also provide for one another in these situations, or like work with,
Yeah, and this is making me want to plus one what was discussed about having a kitchen in the space, like having less of a distinction between our work and our reproductive labor in a residency. I thought that was really right. Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. I love that you're thinking this way. I don't know if you would remember this, but right when the Hungry Mothers started meeting, I think, like maybe 2019 or 18, you mentioned a book about like finance or economy that you were reading. Do you remember what the book was?
That I was reading?
Yeah, I think so.
I can maybe go back.
It was something like this. It was like non-monetary or like the reciprocity economy. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Let me, the Rolodex in my brain is working right now. So
yes. Yeah, anyway, that cool. Hearing that and how to make the contours. This reminds me of an early conversation that came up, I think, with Teak, Tyler, a lot of people were on this call about like institutional drag and like how we need to define how we gather so that we receive food resources. Yeah, like all of how we go about all of this can be in between somehow.
Yeah.
Pulling from different sources.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny because it's like, I feel like it's just like an ancient practice. It's not new. It's just that like, it's like like trying to reclaim this way of being with people, of being with humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actual care.
Yeah, I mean the valorizing of it is troubling to me, like that we have to even like prove value in this kind of thing. Yeah, because it is as old as gathering itself. It's gathering.
Yeah, part of. Yeah.
And sharing and celebrating and uplifting practices.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to be. I'm team like find other resources,
Cool.
Yeah.
non-monetary resources.
And
Look for those too, but like both, like yes and, or both and.
totally. Yeah.
You know, there are things out there, and it's like sometimes there are those things that you come across. You're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we need.
Absolutely, yeah.
Maybe this is a really naive question, but is it also in terms of Black Hole Hollow? Is it not just possible to camp? Like if we would bring tents and sleeping bags and all that? Yeah. Okay.
For sure. Yep.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So much place, so many spaces to camp. Like,
yeah. I mean,
you could feel like you were camping by yourself if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Going into the woods or out in the field or by the water.
Yeah. In the I'm gonna have to like summarize this trails of story into a really, really short nugget here, but in the community where I was now in Coquille in Colombia, like every time there would be part of what the community was building up was this medicinal garden, and every time there would be like a work session for the garden, there would be a communal cooking of some kind of a dish, and often the dish would be on an open fire, and it would take many, many hours to cook, and everybody would bring an ingredient, and it was really just so clear to me, like nothing else is going to happen unless that is happening. And like the preparation meetings for those sessions are mostly about the food. And it just made everything else possible. Like, yeah. So, and it was a slow, long process, like one dish for the whole day. So I also think that's kind of a nice to break. I don't know. I mean, now I'm dreaming about it not being able to be there this summer, and probably, sadly, I don't know. But yeah, just wishing for that. Also, breaking down our like units that we've learned. You know, even meal times and beginnings and endings and sessions, and yeah, which is how like QB a lot of our lives have to function. And now I'm like back living by the train times at an exact minute, you know, but like, yeah.
Were they, what were, like, what, do you remember the names of some of the dishes?
I mean, the most kind of, the queen of the dishes is sancocho. You know sancocho?
Sancocho, no.
I don't think so.
It's kind of a stew. It's, I mean, in that case, it was like chicken sancocho or fish sancocho, because it was, both of those are animals that are literally right there. All the, yeah, fishing is a huge part of the community. And so then chicken sancocho means like choosing the chicken to kill, preparing for that a few days before, killing the chicken, plucking the feathers, all the everything. And yeah, with yuca and plantain, and kind of brew it for a really long time. So it's a bit like a thick, gooey,
Oh my gosh.
with
I gotta go get some yuca now. Okay.
coconut rice, and yeah.
No, I need that for my dinner tonight. I want it right now.
Totally.
Kick this sickness to the curb.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And the amount of time it takes to make a fire in a place that's in the rainforest, it's nothing's dry, you know. It's like,
Oh my gosh.
anyways, yeah, time really was a different beast than we've, you know, tamed it to be. Yeah, but that's such an amazing thing if we would gather that there would be that spaciousness to really have things also happening simultaneously, and yeah, spatially in different ways.
Hmm. I'm curious, just thinking or dreaming about all of these things. And Tyler and I are co-facilitating a series at the Field Center outside of, or in, well, I feel like it's very nearby Bellows Falls, Vermont. And we've been like, putting out thoughts and ideas. We had to come up with a description, and we think this is going to happen this way. We put out some things and put out some ideas, and there's a local radio station called Wool Radio, and so we're wanting to put out a transmission through their radio station to the community. And like, so I'm curious. It's funny because it just feels like it'll be a version, or like a little experiment to like how something at Black Hole Hollow could go. Like a land labor activity will do, and yeah, just engaging with the community, and then a variety of things that we have planned. But yeah, so it feels like it's a first attempt or an exploration, really, on the potential or what we could do, with y'all, with everyone.
Beautiful.
Nice.
And is that? Yeah, sorry.
When is that?
That is May 11th through the 14th.
Nice. That's great. I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah, and people will stay. Some people will stay over because they have the facilities to house people, like many people. I think it's an old schoolhouse, maybe. But yeah, so we'll have both. We'll have people who are staying the night, and then also people who will be just doing a daily.
Cool.
So
that's great.
Yeah, it's coming up.
And if it's a real radio transmission, I guess that means it's not digital. We couldn't listen in.
That's a good question, because I think that I'm trying to remember now. Because I think there's a link. They may have a web link.
Yeah, a lot of times it's online.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they have a streamer. Mm-hmm. Here,
cool. I mean, no rush, but let us know.
Yeah.
Also.
Black Sheep Radio. Wool. So nice.
Yeah, and they so Jared, who runs one of the directors of the Field Center, said that they are members of the radio station, so we would be able to, through the Field Center, put out a recording.
Nice.
Wow. Very cool.
I'm a little more excited about that than anything else.
Well, you gotta reach
people. But, it's like the radio. Like, I've been obsessed with the radio forever.
Wow.
And I don't know, it's just like, it is coming back, Shelly. And there are, I just like, it makes me so happy that we're also able now to use a streamer. So you can, like, I listen to KUNM or all these different radio stations all the time from all over the place. And it's because of the web that we can do it, right? Whereas previous, we were very limited. But local radio, I don't know, or just radio, like,
totally.
A big deal for me. So
excited for you.
I know. You get to just play with the radio, huh? Cool.
Yeah. Super cool.
That's great. Well,
have we reached our threshold? I think so. I have. Look at this. Look at this sun. Look at
You've got to get some of that sun.
yeah.
That's a must.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's cooking.
Yeah.
There are a lot of long arcs we're tending to and bearing witness to in these calls, and I think it's important what gets called forward. It's been really nice.
Call forwarding. Yeah.
Call forwarding. Wow, radio call forwarding. We're 90s babies. No, actually, I'm a 90s baby. I don't know if you are. Are you 80s, Shelley?
I was born 89. I made it in.
Damn, I'm the only 90s baby. All right.
I was going to make a little like task list or to-do list that just for myself that I said I was gonna do. Would you helping me recount that? I think I set a form for our availability this summer, right?
Was it for okay, so it was for this summer, what, to see about rescheduling the Black Hole Hollow dates? Is that why?
Or just to see, what's possible, or like
yeah. Oh, right. The form. Yeah. And so, okay. So yes, the form is one of them. And now I'm remembering the calendar conversation that Christy brought up. It's actually broader of just like wanting to know our transits back through that region, which I'm also interested in. So maybe that's a separate thing, but that's a little confusing. Maybe do the form, but at a later date, I might do the calendar.
Yeah.
So as not to confuse, but I like the idea of kind of knowing where we're at. It's an exciting. Yeah. Okay.
Like a little our own GPS.
Yeah.
Our coordinates. It can only give it in our coordinates, not. I'm just kidding.
Well, it might be actually easier than.
Yeah, and more precise.
Yeah.
Or like our flight numbers.
Nah.
Because then you have to go to flightaware.com like my mom every time I get on a flight back to the United States.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine though if like suddenly one of the Hungry Mothers was just there, like when you exit and people who have people picking them up.
Oh my gosh.
I would cry.
My dream. Like
I would cry.
Romantic.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I've flown, I'm just like, imagine if somebody were there.
Totally.
You know, just the subway you gotta catch. You gotta catch the air train.
It is.
I get butterflies even when there's nobody there. Like in that threshold before the sliding doors open.
Wow. I really like the idea of sending our flight information.
Yeah. Train information.
Yeah. Auto route information.